As of this morning, the American Civil Liberties Union is tracking 491 bills that target people that identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer. Over 100 of those specifically target trans people. These bills, if passed, would limit the ability of American citizens to use their pronouns, to change their names, to read books, to teach, to learn, to invest, to perform, to work, to play, to give or receive health care, to go to the bathroom. There are 6 bills in Alabama, 5 in Alaska, 11 in Arizona, 9 in Arkansas, 1 in California, 1 in Colorado, 2 in Connecticut, 10 in Florida, 5 in Georgia, 5 in Hawaii, 8 in Idaho, 18 in Indiana, 29 in Iowa, 14 in Kansas, 12 in Kentucky, 4 in Louisiana, 4 in Maine, 1 in Maryland, 2 in Massachusetts, 9 in Michigan, 10 in Minnesota, 25 in Mississippi, 47 bills in Missouri, 8 in Montana, 4 in Nebraska, 2 in Nevada, 4 in New Hampshire, 6 in New Jersey, 1 in New Mexico, 12 in North Carolina, 17 in North Dakota, 6 in Ohio, 35 in Oklahoma, 7 in Oregon, 3 in Pennsylvania, 5 in Rhode Island, 18 in South Carolina, 3 in South Dakota, 28 in Tennessee, 58 in Texas, 9 in Utah, 2 in Vermont, 14 in Virginia, 2 in Washington, and 3 in West Virginia. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to just end right here in disgust, because I am disgusted. These bills are disgusting. This entire effort is disgusting. Speaking personally, speaking as a person of faith, speaking as a person of conscience, speaking as a person, I condemn these bills. I condemn the sponsors of these bills. I condemn their intent. I condemn their supporters. And any philosophy that sees any other human being as less worthy, less valuable, less human is, in my opinion, vile, repugnant, offensive, abhorrent, loathsome, nauseating, and yes, disgusting. The movement to push these bills and ones like them is antithetical to life, to love, to faith, to God. It has no place in our communities, no place in our nation, no place in our time. And the fact that all of this is here, the fact that we must face it, the fact that we are still struggling with any of this, to me, is baffling. I am disgusted. It's been 54 years since Stonewall, since an angry, tired, beaten, scared Black trans woman tossed a brick at the police that had come once again to harass, intimidate, and abuse her, her friends, her family, and her coworkers. That day in 1969, it became all just a little too much. And as a result of that, you and I are here today. This is the reason that you and I have seen 53 years of pride, 53 years of celebrating out loud and proud the rights of Americans to live how they please, love how they please, to enjoy the right of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness that is supposedly guaranteed to every other American. 53 years of celebration. And yet, for reasons that are all too familiar, reasons that are all too common, reasons that are all too pathetic, here we are, 491 bills aiming to become the law of the land. Bills with a singular aim, a singular purpose: to limit freedom, undermine freedom, roll back freedom, legislate away freedom, steal freedom, take freedom away from other Americans. And that is where we are today. We know why. We do. We know specifically that since 2010, since Obama, since we elected a Black president, ever since then, our nation has been engaged in a completely fabricated battle. Billions of dollars have been invested in creating strife, fomenting unrest, causing division, billions. And if you were a normal, thoughtful, reasonable human being, if you ever had any question of why that might be, why that investment is so large, I will remind you that the Trump-era tax cuts were for trillions of dollars. The math is crystal clear. Fact is, we know what happened to us and why, and we know who did it to us. We have been turd bombed by thieves, brigands, and privateers. And we know what they're doing. We know that they are throwing everything in the air, doing anything that keeps us from stopping them from vacuuming money. Money out of your banks, out of your savings, out of your future. And anything they can do that helps that end, well, that's just fun and games. And anything, well, that does mean, yes, aiming fascists, foolish, and feeble-minded people directly at those who are most vulnerable and most marginalized. Because harm for them isn't really the point. A fight is the point. Distraction is the point. Fear is the point. Stay angry, stay afraid, stay engaged, and whatever you do, look away from the man behind the curtain. Disgust. That's all I have for this. And yes, I suppose that means they're doing their job well. And every time you or anyone of good heart or compassionate spirit, every time you turn away in anger, every time you retreat, every time you give up, every time you can't take it anymore, every time you block someone, every time you leave a state or a platform, every time you abandon, every time you turn away in legitimate annoyance or shame or disbelief or, yes, disgust, that is a win. Because the plan is to grind you down. They cannot win on the strength of their position, the righteousness of their cause, the zeal of their argument, or the nobility of their goals. They know that. They win by grinding you down. They win by pelting you with fish and fruit and crap and bury you in it. They win. They know they have to win. They know they have to hit and hit and hit until you look away. That is the game plan with immigration, with the wall, with the caravans. That's the game plan with abortion, the game plan with war, the game plan with voter suppression, with the debt ceiling, with marriage equality, with anti-trans legislation. Yes, there are true believers in any and all of that nonsense. But the zealots who believe this narrow and narrow-minded nonsense, they're not as many as we think. That's what I hope. But I don't want to be fooled, because they, whoever they happen to be, I know they don't care about this super partisanship. They don't care about it any more than we do. Just as they don't care about your feelings, your values, the fact that you have rights to, that you were made in God's own image, hell, the fact that you are human, that is entirely irrelevant. It's noise. It's all about the noise. And the noise gets, quote, their people to vote, to show up, and better still, to send them money. And since that's true, we will expect more of the same. And the more you touch that noise, interact, react, comment, share, send it around, the ever so helpful algorithm will assume you want more. The liars, thieves, and brigands know this. So they will say anything, do anything, and there is no level to which they will not stoop, no bridge too far, no plea for decency that will sway them, no notion of hypocrisy that they are even able to grasp, no pearls that can be clutched, no mercy. So yeah, I'm disgusted. And yeah, I'm very much aware of how tired, defeated, and cynical all of this sounds. And as I have suggested, that is why they do it. And why they keep doing it. The longer you play their game, the longer you react to their abuse, the longer you'll suffer it. Disgusted. And at times like this, I'm reminded. I'm reminded of the comic Hannah Gadsby. Anybody catch her Netflix specials? Put them on your list. When she tosses out something offensive, something triggering, she reminds us that we have a choice. She says, it's bait. It's not for you. I find that helpful, thinking of the reactions to pride, thinking of the politics of the day. I'm also reminded same time of a friend I have. I love her to bits. She had the misfortune of marrying a narcissist. And to this day, years after their divorce, she is still suffering through acres of abuse, of noise, of gaslighting. I suspect that's a familiar story for at least some of you here today. I have no idea how she managed. To me, it seems staggering, but she apparently learned a strategy, one that she shared with me, and I'll share it with you right now, because I think it might help us in the next few years, these next few election cycles. It's called gray rock. The way gray rock works is this. Imagine you are a gray, uninteresting, non-reactive, non-provocative, non-threatening, non-anything, a rock, a stone of indeterminate size, worth, or construction. You're just a rock, boring in every way. You're not worthy of time or attention. Just a rock, ho-hum, gray rock. Narcissists, and please forgive me because I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, but my layperson understanding is that narcissists thrive on engagement. Their entire point for some or most or all of them is just that, to get you to interact with them, to respond to them, to validate them with your attention. So they do whatever they can, say whatever they can, just to get you to respond. They will lie, distort, misrepresent, fabricate, switch around, and invent meaning, situation, memory, and goals, because the point isn't the truth, the point isn't engagement, and engagement is winning. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. Here's the thing I learned about winning. You have to play to win. And today I want to suggest this is something that we can choose not to do. Just like the US National Defense AI computer in the 1984 movie War Games discovered about the game thermonuclear war. The only way to win is not to play. So what do? Here's my recommendation. First, gray rock up Twitter, Facebook, the news, the comment section, wherever you might be that is asking to steal your eyes, your heart, your mind, your spirit, and somehow give them a twist. That's what they're looking for, so just gray rock all of that. The they that are out there are using the algorithm to excite you, to engage you, to enrage you, so don't. Chances are most of what you read and what you read is written by bots and sourced from bots, and no one is going to win an argument with an AI. So just let it go. It's bait. It's all bait. It's not for you. Next, and most importantly, spite. And what I mean by this is very simple, and you have no doubt heard it before. Before I get there, just know and trust and work, and know that we will continue to work towards voting down every single piece of hate and hate-filled tomfoolery that gets to a vote. We will reject and reject and reject any and all attempts to harm ourselves, our family, our friends, and our neighbors. No to all of that. We know that each and every one of us was made in the image of God. Every single one of us carries within us the gift of light and truth, and every single one of us is worthy of life and love and living space. We know that we deserve a full life, a robust life, a free life to flourish with wild abandon, just like every other person ever born. Obviously. None of that is going to be in question. None of that is up for debate. And anything that challenges this basic common humane sense, thank you, but no thank you, that's bait. So I will gray rock. Gray rock. Moving on. Look, I'll admit this sounds hard. This is harder than it sounds. The hate can and does grind and hurt. But that's the play. The next part, the fun part, is how we make that work. It's way easier. Now, according to science I just made up, nothing in the world annoys jerks more than their victims refusing to be victims. Instead of staying beaten down, bullies hate it. They hate seeing their would-be targets rise up anyway. To rise up with joy, even in the face of anger and mockery and hate, to dare to show love in the face of hate. They can't stand that. honestly, the look of disbelief on their face is almost entirely worth it. That's me just rolling around in spite. Because I love that part. And no, I'm not a good person. So spite them. That's my recommendation. And then forget about them. Instead, I suggest we should sing. We should dance. We should laugh. Dare to live out loud and proud. We should do all of that together. And we should keep doing that over and over until the dinosaurs are dead and buried in tar. My friends, 53 years on, this is the lesson of pride. Joy will annoy the living snot out of haters. And being the spiteful sprite that I am, nothing gives me more pleasure than annoying such people. Gray rock, then dance. That's my plan. And we will show up. We will vote. Billionaires, beware. Haters, beware. Noisemakers, beware, because we see you now. So my friends, do that. Show up, dance, be wild, wave the rainbow, put ketchup on hot dogs. Is that too far? Lord, I apologize. But the invitation stands, and you get to do it all this next weekend, because this Saturday we are gathering. The community of love and faith and good heart, we are gathering at Wheeler Park, as I said, 2 to 6 p.m. for our second annual Family Pride Picnic. Come play, come laugh, show up for love, and yes, eat. Be a volunteer, cook a hot dog, show your neighbors that they are not alone. And then do it again next Sunday. We, this community of love and faith and good heart, we are taking our love on the road, and we are going to Aurora for pancakes, for community worship, and to march with joy and love, and yes, even a little spite. We're gonna march in the annual Aurora Pride Parade. We will show up, we will be seen, we will dance, we will sing, because that is what we choose. We choose to live with joy. We choose to live with light. We choose to wave the rainbow. And to all those people, those family, those friends, and those neighbors out there who are targeted and agitated, know that we see you too. We choose you. We are here with you because you matter, because you are loved, and because we are so very proud of you. Happy Pride. Amen.
Visit us at UUSG.org.